The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
And hello and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I'm your host, Darren Jaime, and today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our community as well as around the world. Coming up on today's show, investigators are leaning towards human error as the cause behind the fatal Metro North crash. We'll bring you the latest. Also, we'll recap the major local, national, and international headlines. Then we'll find out about an event that will have you dancing for a good cause. Plus, December is more than just Santa and gifts. It's as well as decorating around the tree. It's also the month of peace. We'll have the details. And then we'll introduce you to an organization that's committed to proactive equality and academic fairness for students. And finally, baseball in December. It's 21 days of Clemente. Find out exactly what this means and how you can get your kids involved. So stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way, because right now we're officially open. And hello, everyone. I'm your host, Darren Jaime, and today is Wednesday, December 4th, 2013. Of course, you're watching Open, the only live and interactive program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. We encourage you to stay connected to us. You can find out about us at Twitter at BronxNet TV or at Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Well, we're learning new developments into the fatal crash of the Metro North Railroad train. Investigators are now looking into whether or not train engineer William Rockefeller nodded off at the controls moments before the deadly crash. Previous statements by Rockefeller pointed towards a possible brake failure, something the NTSB investigation ruled out yesterday. The southbound train was heading towards Grand Central Station when it derailed on the approach of Spuyten Duyvil. 4 people were killed and more than 60 were injured in the derailment. Meanwhile, New York State Governor Mario Cuomo stated that most service to the Hudson Line will be restored by late today. According to the Associated Press, we will continue to bring you those details in regards to Metro North. Well, according to the Associated Press, the UN Nuclear Agency says a truck carrying an extremely dangerous radioactive substance has been stolen in Mexico. The International Atomic Energy Agency says the truck was carrying cobalt-60 that's used for radiotherapy treatment to combat cancer. A statement today said that the truck was stolen on Monday, taking the material to a radioactive waste storage center from the northern city of Tijuana. It says the heist occurred in a town near Mexico City and describes the load as extremely dangerous if damaged or removed from its protective shielding. The statement also says that Mexican authorities are searching for the material, and we will continue to let you know about that. Turning now onto the national front and onto our boroughs front, from the national to the borough. I don't know where we are today, but from the national to the borough, right here in the borough of the Bronx, Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr., as well as world-renowned psychosexual therapist and author Dr. Ruth Westingheimer, celebrated Hanukkah yesterday at the Bronx County Building by lighting the menorah in the Veterans Memorial Hall. Now, Dr. Ruth said she was thrilled to be partnering with Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. to help celebrate Hanukkah back in her favorite borough called the Bronx. And those are our national and international headlines. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll find out about an organization that wants to ensure that students are not left behind. Stay with us. We're coming right back right after this.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. And you get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite. Unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. One book can be the first element. Helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Did you know that getting up and getting active for just 60 minutes a day is all it takes to help you get stronger, look better, and feel great?
Or that fresh fruits and veggies aren't just healthier and crunchier, they can taste better too?
Eating better and getting more active is easier than you think.
Yeah! Keep watching for some fun and easy ways to discover the magic of healthy living in your life.
America.
Let's get healthy together!
The Partnership for Student Advocacy bridges both the educational gap and the experience gap through aggressive fundraising, as well as donations for quality programs in phasing out schools throughout New York City. Now, here to tell us more is the founder of the Partnership of Student Advocacy, Mary Conway Spiegel, and the coordinator of student activities, Christopher Columbus High School, Mr. Edwin Frias. We welcome you both to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so, yes, so schools are closing.
Yep.
And as schools are closing, that creates a couple of challenges. And your design is to try to meet some of those challenges.
Correct. So Edwin and I sort of do two things. Once I realized that school closures were a fact under the Bloomberg administration, I decided to make lemonade out of lemons. It's a horrible thing that happens. It's horrific. But then it gets worse because it takes 3.5 years. And as a school shrinks, it loses funding for state-mandated programs for graduation. So right now at Christopher Columbus High School, programs like art and music and foreign language, they're not being funded, and the kids have to take these courses online. So my message, my job is as an advocate, but also as a fundraiser, so that these kids get a quality education. And Edwin's job is to keep the kids in school, because dropout rates double as a school closes.
So my job as a community service advisor is I try to keep the morale and the school spirit. So by continuing school spirit, continuing different community service projects, I keep the kids together. Keeping the kids together will keep them in school. So that's basically what I do. I plan the different pep rallies, different school spirit days, which in all reality, they don't get that from the teachers that they don't have. Because of the school closures.
Yeah, so what is the morale like when you have a school that's getting ready to close?
It's very hard for the kids. The kids, a lot of them, there's 7 schools in Christopher Columbus campus. So other schools that are not closing have these programs like art, music, cooking, a computer lab. We don't have none of that. So my job is to try to take their minds off that and bring them into like the school spirit. With the different events, planning trips, taking them outside the building so they don't really pay attention to those other things that they don't have.
So they don't pay attention to the inequality. basically we have a separate and unequal. That has been the hallmark of the Bloomberg administration. And so my job is to tell your audience about that and that it's still going on. So at Samuel Gompers, they're still open for business, but they're shrinking and they're losing money each year. Will they be able to provide their students with career technical education diplomas? See, this is all something people don't understand. As a school closes, the students who remain get a substandard education because there just isn't the funding there necessary to provide AP classes. Columbus doesn't have a technology lab, a college counselor, or even proper
technical support.
Yeah.
At all.
At all.
So with the college planning, we don't have an actual college advisor. So what I do is I plan these different trips to different colleges to bring them there so they can actually see the college physically. So just yesterday, we went to Binghamton College, and some of these kids, they would never have the chance to visit this school if without the funding that we're getting from Mary. So it's actually very hard not having a college advisor, because I'm not a college advisor. I went to college, I did it myself. I graduated from Christopher Columbus High School 2006, so I had that, and I know how hard it is for them not having that guidance from.
So, Mary, give us a little bit about how you're able to fund and what you're able to do, because you're providing some support to students who really are, facing some real harsh reality. Because when schools close, what many people don't know is there's a process, and it's kind of a little lengthy.
Yeah, it's lengthy and it's painful. It's like it's almost like suffering a disease or a death. So my job is to reach out to the community and hold a fundraiser. So in September, we had former New York Knicks star John Starks come up to Columbus, and we had a fundraiser. At that point, Senator Jeff Klein gave the school $14,000, and Partnership for Student Advocacy raised $2,000. So there's $16,000 right there. In March of 2013, we had our opening launch fundraiser where we raised $6,000 so that Columbus students could have Kaplan SAT prep. So my job is to shout from the rafters, raise money through my website, and then keep on sending out the message that school closures take 3.5 years, so that when de Blasio becomes mayor, the last school closure will happen in 2017. That's on his watch. It's his job to make sure those kids get a quality education, and my job to come out like I am today and talk about this inequality that will go on for years.
When you have students right now, and you know that they have this little three and a half year window,
Yes.
really, you could be a sophomore, or I should say a freshman going in, knowing this school is going to close, and still be able to finish out just almost your whole high school term. What kind of methods are you using, if you will, to kind of keep them engaged, knowing of what's around the corner?
Well, exactly what we do as a coordinator of student activities, I plan the activities so they don't think about the closure of the school. I don't want them to think that they're in a school that's closing so they don't have to attend or participate in different activities. I know there's other programs outside of the school that are offered to closing schools, but it's very hard for them to get to these programs. Some of them are too far for them. So keeping the morale and the school with the activities, keeping the
Spirit.
the spirit of the school is the way I try to not make them think about the school closing.
And what people don't understand is, as a school closes, the dropout rate increases. So most of these school closures, if you go on the DOE website, you will notice that discharge rates and dropout rates
And attendance
eclipse
rates.
graduation rates. So Edwin is at the center of holding those kids into the building so that they stay the course. That's
Yeah.
very important.
And very hard, too.
Yeah, not having these programs like music, art, computer lab, cooking, all these things, not having that for these kids, it's like a method for them just saying, all right, so I got to go to English, math, and science, and then I'm gone.
And
But then
basically giving up.
Yeah, and so they don't have something to go for. I remember when I was in school and I was a senior, I looked forward to these classes. I looked forward to at the end of my day where I had cooking or where I had music. So, and for them not having that, they have a period. They come into school third period, which is 9 a.m., and then they leave at 12 p.m.
And you want to ensure that no students are left behind, and obviously that's a very hard task. What have you been able to do fundraising-wise to really be able to attract funds? You talked about being able to get some financial assistance from Jeff Klein.
Yes.
Are more people becoming aware of the problem?
Not enough, Darren. And it breaks my heart, because what people see in the media is they see the PEP vote, the Panel for Education Policy, and then everyone walks away and they feel sad and they feel awful, but they don't know that the beat goes on. And so there's not enough awareness. So what I do is I apply for grants. I go out and I meet with elected officials. I go knock on doors of hedge fund managers, and I just keep basically begging for money. And I do say beg, because I believe in these kids. These are the kids that are going into the workforce. These are the kids that are going to eventually be the working poor, or God forbid, in prison. Because, as you know, the Bronx has a very high poverty rate. So if we've got kids giving up in high school, does that mean they're going to give up as adults outside of high school? So this is incredibly important.
Let me ask the question, what's the reaction like? Because obviously we understand the plight by what you're saying right now, but as you go from door to door and as you begin to speak to people,
it's disbelief. It's unfortunate, but it's disbelief. People just don't believe that in the 21st century, this type of inequality, this type of basically racism, because it is the black and brown youth of the Bronx. They don't believe it's real. And so I knock on doors many times. The first is knocking on the door of denial. Once I get past the denial, then it's introducing them to these amazing kids. I mean, I'm at Columbus once a week. I love going there. It's a beautiful place to be. It's a center of attraction. People don't leave Columbus because they want to be there, and working for Principal Fuentes is very amazing.
I've been there since 2006, graduated 2006, went to college, and came right back to my school.
And you've been helping out ever since?
And I've been helping out ever since. And I just want to say thank you to Mary, because of Mary and her grants that we've gotten. These kids have gotten the PSATs. They've had the Kaplan. So this Saturday they're taking their SATs, and hopefully everything goes well with them.
And then you just came back from Binghamton?
And we just came back from Binghamton.
Wow.
Right.
Well, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for bringing the awareness, and hopefully people become more aware of a growing problem when these schools do close. Thanks so much, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All righty. Well, we got to take a quick break, but guess what? We're going to find out what students have to say about their schools phasing out. That's coming up when we return.
I have a brother who actually goes upstairs. There's a different school upstairs, and they're considered the top school in our whole building. So he has textbooks for even elective classes. He'll have textbooks for everything: chemistry, physics, trigonometry, geometry, algebra. And I'm gonna be honest, from freshman year to senior year, I've never had a math textbook. Before the phase out, typically we had one of the biggest high schools in the Bronx.
It was like a full school. It's like a regular school. Now there's barely any kids in school. It's like you don't see the same enthusiasm anymore.
Once you place a school phasing out, automatically their budget gets reduced, despite the fact that there's still students going there. Now with the budget reduced, what comes off? Teachers, good teachers, programs, sports, things that make a school.
We don't have any space. As you can see, our building has 7 schools, and now our school is getting smaller, but our classes are getting bigger because we have no space.
There's certain kids who needs one-to-one attention with the teacher, but that teacher can't just sit with that person because there's so many of them.
We used to offer a lot of Regent prep classes. That doesn't even exist anymore.
Maybe a little over a third of our classes were just cut. I had AP English my junior year, and other than that class, there's no other AP class. It's just AP English. Now this year, it's not there at all.
My name is Mary Conway Spiegel. I'm the founder of Partnership for Student Advocacy. I founded Partnership for Student Advocacy because I don't believe in failing schools. I believe that the education policy that comes from Washington, from Albany, from New York City, from the powers that be, the policies themselves are flawed and they cause schools to quote-unquote fail by setting up certain metrics that schools cannot meet.
It's like, what do you expect from us? We're put in a certain position where you're kind of in a mental turmoil, like you're just confused completely.
The Partnership for Student Advocacy Foundation exists to raise money to fund programming for schools that are phasing out.
I love my school. I love the staff. I love my principal.
I know I could be someone sometime, so I don't let it bring me down or go out and do bad things, sell drugs. No, I'm doing what I have to do for myself.
Kids still go to, are enrolled in, and graduate from phasing out closing schools.
The staff that were there when you were there freshman year won't be there, so it's really tough.
You know, it hurts.
You don't know what to do about it.
The funds that we raise will return to a phasing out school the programming that they're losing each year they phase out. Funding like academic funding, college preparation funding, monies for sports programming.
If a school is able to cut that, I mean, in a way, it takes a part of the children away, because this is what they've known from their childhood.
Give each child that is going to close the doors on the final day of that school the same courses that they had their freshman year. Give that to them. They deserve it.
You want me to do better, but help me.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
And welcome back to Open. Darren Jaime here with you. For the past 13 years, Latino Sports has commemorated December, remembering that on December 31st, Roberto Clemente died in a plane crash delivering badly needed supplies to ravage-stricken Nicaragua, who had suffered a devastating earthquake. December the 10th kicks off 21 days of Clemente, and here to tell us more is president and founder of Latino Sports Ventures Incorporated, Mr. Julio Pabon. Julio, good to have you here on the show again.
Always a pleasure.
Good.
Always a pleasure.
So December is a good time of year, and then also a very sad time because we remember the life of Roberto Clemente, star baseball player who lost his life. But you guys have been very active in keeping his name and his legacy alive.
Yes, and December especially because you don't really hear too much about Clemente or anybody in December except for Santa Claus and, you know, all the parties. I mean, yesterday I was in a party. Tonight there's two parties. I'm having a party on Saturday. The month of December is all about celebration, and people forget that as difficult as it is, because in December everybody's trying to buy presents, everybody's trying to get the parties off the ground, preparing for the new year. During that same period in 1972, this man who's a superstar at the time, imagine Michael Jordan at his height. That was Clemente at his height in 1970s. In 1972, the superstar, world-class baseball player, instead of being home drinking piña coladas during the winter recess with his family, he is going around all over the island, man, working, controlling, trying to do fundraisers. Like people are coming here talking about fundraisers. He was doing that throughout the entire month to raise money to send to the people in Nicaragua who were not even Puerto Rican, who needed this. And he had just visited Nicaragua once and realized how bad it was. They didn't have any x-ray equipment. They didn't have any supplies. And he was raising money to send nurses, x-ray equipment, mechanics. But it wasn't getting through the airport because Somoza, if people remember history, Nicaragua was a dictatorship. Anastasio Somoza was a dictator. So all the supplies that were going to Nicaragua, his son, Anastasio Jr., was holding it in the airport. So they kept on calling Clemente and said, look, we're doing a great job, but this stuff is not leaving the airport. We need you to come here. Imagine a superstar going to Nicaragua and saying, hey, let's get this out to the people. He said, you don't really need me there. Let me be here, continue to send supplies. But they convinced him that he needs to go to Nicaragua. So he decided to go on that last plane load. But it was the last one, so they decided to get a bigger plane and load it up with even more equipment. That plane should have never left. It shouldn't have even been approved. It was a death sentence.
And consequently, he loses his life in the plane crash. And the baseball world mourns, the Puerto Rican community mourns, and literally the world mourns a star. For people who aren't so familiar with Roberto Clemente, what does his death mean to the world of baseball?
Well, Clemente was basically the one that started the whole aspect of, you see all these athletes today that are giving out these checks and talking about giving. Well, Clemente was doing that when it wasn't a tax write-off. Clemente was doing things like, for example, like you heard here about a child who has leukemia. If they would have written a letter to Clemente, even though Clemente was not in any New York team, and Clemente would have gotten that letter, he would have opened it, and when he came to play against the Mets, don't be surprised if he might have gone to that home or that hospital, knock on the door and say, hey, I'm here, here's an autograph. He did that throughout the entire country whenever the team went to a different city. He gave a lot. He met with Martin Luther King. He was in for, supported the civil rights movement. He was a very controversial figure. That's why you didn't hear a lot about Clemente, because the white press couldn't stand him, because he would just speak his mind. He was like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, star baseball player. And he was in a low budget team, the Pittsburgh Pirates, so he didn't get that much publicity. So
They're pretty exciting these days.
Yes, losing Clemente was a big thing, because he was the forerunner of also organizing the Players Association. He was one of the organizers to help organize the Players Association. He was a civil rights advocate, where this is something that you don't have a lot of players today. A lot of players today don't want to speak about an issue because they're afraid because of the team.
So here in the borough of the Bronx, we will be remembering Roberto Clemente, 21 days of Clemente.
Yes.
So let's let people know exactly what's going to be happening during these 21 days.
Well, 21 days, the reason, by the way, number 21, that's what he wore. That was his number on the uniform. So 21 days to us is like we take away from 31, so the 10th, from the 10th to the 21st. First thing, a lot of youth, students, any student in the Bronx, if you're hearing this out, any student in the Bronx, kindergarten to high school, if you do anything on Clemente, I don't care if you take a picture, cut it out from a magazine and paste it and send it to us, you're going to be getting a certificate from the Bronx Borough President, and you're going to be eligible to receive 2 tickets from the New York Yankees and 2 tickets from the New York Mets. So you can go to a game during the summer. Third, your piece is going to be exhibited for 21 days at Roberto Clemente State Park. So from December 10th to the 31st, all the pieces, literary and art pieces that are put together by students all over the Bronx are going to be exhibited there. And then we're going to have 3 forums for the adults. And each forum, it will be something talking about Clemente. We've had Pulitzer Prize-winning authors like who wrote the book on Clemente, David Moranis. We've had members of the family. We've had people who knew Clemente. This year we're having the first one is going to be on the film that we did on Clemente. There's going to be shown at the kickoff on December 10th at the Bronx Documentary Center. And it's open to the public. It's all free.
And it's going to be the documentary screen, not to cut you off, is going to be the legacy of 21.
Exactly, and which is something that we did a long time ago, and we have it in storage. It's the only documentary that also mentions the whole issue of why is his number not yet retired by Major League Baseball. So that's a very interesting documentary, and also very exciting. Applebee's. We're going to be having 2 forums at Applebee's on the 16th and the 23rd, and Applebee's gave us the entire window display at the Terminal Mall. So the entire window display is going to have all these very nice, rare Clemente items. So the whole window display is going to be a museum of very expensive items about Clemente, so people can go to Applebee's and go see this free exhibit throughout 21 days.
So the question does come up. He has not yet been inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, he has been inducted to the Hall of Fame.
I should say the Hall of Fame. But then there was a questions about why. Why wasn't he so? Why it took so long for him to be there? Question, your answer.
Well, he was inducted right rapidly. He was inducted like immediately after his death. In fact, he's the only player that never had to wait the 5-year period. But what's taken so long is the fact that his number has not yet been retired.
I should have said that. I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say.
And that is the issue. And the fact is that if you see or know anything about Clemente, a fact about a man who funded the Black Panther Party's breakfast program. People don't know that. You know, the fact that this is the guy who organized a boycott. When Martin Luther King was killed, the only team in baseball that refused to play until they buried his body was the Pittsburgh Pirates. And guess who organized that boycott? A black Puerto Rican named Roberto Clemente. And these are only one or two of the many things that Clemente did that people don't know about. And that's why we say you can't forget this man. We need to bring him back. And we bring him back every December so that kids and adults will remember what a great humanitarian who happened to be an incredible baseball player.
When do we think we'll see this number be retired?
Well, the good news is that Commissioner Bud Selig is going to retire. He's leaving. And I think he's one of the biggest obstacles to retiring the number. A lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, he's very close to the issue of the baseball team members and the fact that they only wanted one number retired was the Jackie Robinson. And we have no issues with that. We think that that's the right thing to do. Jackie Robinson should be retired. But there are members of the Jackie Robinson family who believe that if you retire Clemente's number, it will belittle the meaning of Jackie Robinson's number being retired. And we're arguing that has absolutely not. Clemente's number being retired is on other issues, the whole issue of humanitarianism, all these things that he did outside of baseball that should not be forgotten. So if a kid goes to Minnesota and he's standing in at the ballpark and he'll see number 21, he's going to ask his dad, Dad, why is the number 21 there? We never had a baseball player 21. And his father will have to tell him, oh, that wasn't the Minnesota Twins. That was a player by the name of Roberto Clemente, who played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that keeps the legacy alive. And that's what we want. We want it all over the country where that number 21 is retired. Right there next to Jackie Robinson, which, by the way, if you believe in numerology, Robinson is 42. And Clemente
21
is 21.
Half the number 42.
Half the number is 42. So there's a lot of synergy there. And we believe that there is no competition. And it's not going to belittle anybody's number, especially Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson was historic. I mean, he's the first person of color to play in baseball. So we respect that. But we believe that there should be a 42. There also should be a 21.
So after these 21 days are over, where can people find out more information about Roberto Clemente?
Well, we're going to launch a site, which you're having me, say this now.
I'm getting the exclusive to you right here on Open, right?
We were going to say that on December 10th at the kickoff at the Bronx Documentary Center, but we're launching a retire21.org. It's going to launch on December 10th. And there, people will, anything has to do with retiring the number 21 is going to be there. And of course, people can go right now. There are 2 articles up, and we're going to have this up with Open at alwayslatinosports.com.
And we encourage people to find out more about it. Now, if you want to find out the 21 Days of Clemente, the screening of the documentary will be taking place. We invite you to come on out and hear a little bit about that. And then as well, you can also travel to the Applebee's in the Terminal Market, and there you'll see vintage Clemente items that rarely ever seen will be displayed at the Applebee's. And so 21 Days of Clemente, there you see the Documentary Center, 614 Cortlandt Avenue, New York, Bronx, New York. I should say, 614 Cortlandt Avenue. And so we want people to come on out. Now, Julio, going forward, with the push for having Clemente's number retired, as well as having Clemente's number retired and really making people aware, what can people do, the public right now, to join in on such a cause?
That's a good question. We've been thinking about that because the conventional thing is that, people have always submitted petitions. In fact, one of the persons who's going to speak on these 3 forums, the second one on the 16th, is the son, junior, of the man who really started this whole campaign. The person who started this campaign, I mean, people give me a lot of credit saying, you're the one retiring 21. But no, there was a senior citizen by the name of Willie Soto, who was an activist in the barrio. And one day I see this senior individual with a table with a big picture of Clemente. And of course, you see a big picture of Clemente, you stop. So I stopped and I went and he had a petition. So and that's the first time I've seen this. He said, this number should be retired. So being into sports, Latino sports, I signed it and I entered my card. Well, that was the biggest mistake I did in my life for this man, which changed my life, because he kept on calling me every day. When he saw that my card said Latino Sports, this man began to call me every day and insisting that I should be the one doing this because this is about sports, but it's also about a humanitarian issue. So finally, just to get him off my back, because he called, I'm serious, every day. I went to visit him, and when I went to his senior center, where I saw that this man was living, he should have been retired, but yeah, he's out there trying to collect signatures. I said, you know what? We should do this.
Wow.
And that's how. So he's going to speak about his father and why his father did that on the 16th. And that's what we need to do. We need to get petitions out there. We need to get more information like what you guys are doing here today. People probably didn't even think about Clemente throughout the December, right?
Right.
But look, all these things that are happening.
There you go.
And as many kids as possible who participate, their parents know about it. And when they get those 2 tickets from the Yankees and from the Mets, and they go to the baseball game in the summer, they're going to remember this was because they did something on Clemente.
Julio Pabon, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. We'll continue to follow this story, and thank you for what you're doing.
Well, thank you guys for always being out there for the community, because you are truly the community's news.
All righty, Julio Pabon from Latino Sports. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to be dancing, and dancing for a great cause. We'll explain right after this.
This was me. And Mom and Dad. And my big brother Alex. And Jack. This was the day that I learned that sandals get their name from sand. And that the ocean is bigger than all of us. This was the day we all got to forget that I was sick. This was my wish.
A sandwich is a quick and easy choice. And with the right ingredients, it can be good and good for you. So I'm here today to see who can build the ultimate sandwich. All right, when the time is up, our judges will give you their scores. Ready, set, go! Okay, Jason starts out with a multi-grain roll. Ooh, Allison stuffing her pita with, yes, spinach, a great source of iron. Jason isn't skipping on the protein, adding plenty of smoked turkey, just like Allison's putting the finishing touches with crispy red bell peppers for a dose of vitamin A. Time! It looks like we have a tie. We'll need to call in our special guest referee.
Now, these are what I call quick, delicious lunches. Whole grain breads, a whole variety of ingredients. There are so many different ways to build delicious, healthy sandwiches. These two get high marks in every category. I'd say you're both winners. America.
Let's get healthy together.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year, I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Find out how you can live United for education. Give, advocate, volunteer. Go to liveunited.org.
Do you wear this?
Hey, welcome back to Open. I'm your host, Darren Jaime. Zumba for the holidays. Yes, a fundraiser for Aiden Ona, I should say. Aiden is an amazing 5-year-old boy that was diagnosed on September 12, 2013 with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. He immediately began treatment on September 13th at Montefiore Children's Hospital, and despite Aiden's illness, he just makes your heart melt with a smile. He's loved by many people, and your donation can help us share a bit of happiness, comfort, as well as hope for him and other families. And here now to tell more about this event is Rose Rulon Ithier and Zumba instructor Allison Santiago. And thank you for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
So a very special event.
Yes. I hold this little boy close to my heart because not only is he a 5-year-old boy that unfortunately was diagnosed with leukemia, he is also my son's little brother, which makes him my ex-husband's son. So on September 12th, when I received the phone call that his father confirmed that he was indeed diagnosed with leukemia, I told him, don't worry, we will get through this and we will find a way. And I say we because at the end of the day, he is my son's brother, and Tyler's dad is, you know, his dad, and we need to show the support. And I thought, what better way to do this than with the way I always feel my love and my family unity, and it's through Zumba. I brought today my dear friend, and almost we're like sisters. We finish each other's sentences. Allison Santiago, she's one of the Zumba instructors, along with other Zumba instructors that are donating their time. We have Al Rodriguez, Chrissy Mendez, Rufus Gibson comes all the way from Yonkers. And we have Eve Sedilla, you know, and all of these people are giving up their time, an hour and a half of dancing, and, you know, all funds and proceeds are going to the family.
So December the 7th is the actual day. December the 7th is going to be the day when all of you guys get together.
Yes.
And you'll be dancing for a good cause. And so, Allison, talk a little bit about your participation as an instructor and really bringing Zumba out for this positive cause.
Well, Zumba is a dance fitness program that allows people to actually have fun while working out. It blends Latin rhythms and international beats to make it fun and exciting for people, and as like a dance fitness party. You can burn about 750 calories in one class. So
if you do it right.
Well, in my class, you'll burn about 1,000.
Okay.
So,
especially her arm routine.
Really?
So it's a great way for people to get together. People are actually finding this as a great way of working out, where they'll be intimidated by the regular gym or regular cardio kind of class. So everyone's happy with doing this as their leisure. Some have excuses of getting out of the house, but it's a great way to provide this, you know, giving back to the community and giving back to someone very close to her heart. So we're all going to get together, 5 of us instructors, to give a killer workout to everyone and have fun while we're at it and raise some funds.
And talk about raising funds for this, you know, particular disease. When you first heard about it, were you familiar with it at all?
I have 20 plus years in the medical field, and Aiden's dad, Joe, he's also in the medical field. He's an EMT. And I remember my first words to him were, you need to realize now, take a step back. He is not a patient. This is your son. You cannot look at him as your patient. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to go through the emotions. And how do you explain to a 5-year-old that they need to have multiple surgeries, they need to have blood fusions, they need to have, you know, a port surgically implanted into their chest, because if they don't do this, you don't know what the outcome is of how many more months or years or even days of the fact they're going to have left. There's no words to try to make a 5-year-old understand that. So you have to make the best out of it with them. And as soon as I just got the news, I said, there's no other way, but every penny counts. There's never enough money to help families that are going through this. You have insurances that you get the red tape, they get denied, and it's just more to add to it. They don't need that stress, because they need to focus on having their child around for the next Thanksgiving, for the next Christmas. So what better way than to have a Zumba for the holidays?
And so talk to us about the people who are going to be participating, because you've got a cadre of people who are coming from all over. You've been able to tap into a lot of people.
Yes. We're blessed to have the people that we have in our life. They work their regular jobs, 9 to 5, but they also find time to do this. And I mean, like we have, like I said, Rufus comes all the way from Yonkers. And when he comes in, he just draws up the crowd, and he's just amazing. And he's a survivor himself. So he gives back also. And, you know, we have just so many people that are giving their donations. My niece herself, Tanya Ruland, she's a hairstylist. She gave a haircut appointment as part of a raffle so people can donate more. We have another friend, MJ Treatment, their spa. They're donating a massage. So there's plenty benefits out of it. Not just the love and the ambience of the place. Even the dance academy themselves, Elite Stars Dance Academy, they open their doors and arms to us for the venue. So we're holding it there. And their ambience also, when you walk into their dance studio, you feel the love and the unity. And that's what it's all about. Positive energy, giving back, and forgetting that, this news was received. We need to look forward to tomorrow and hope that there's tomorrow, because we're never promised tomorrow.
And so we're using Zumba as the cause. Are we finding, Allison, more and more people are becoming familiar and involved with Zumba? I know I held, as part of Bronx Week, I was one of the guys who did the Zumba. I was actually the moderator for the Zumba event. And, you found people coming out of the office building and running right down and taking advantage of it. Are more and more people catching on to Zumba?
Yes. We're quite big in the Bronx, I think. I think a lot of people, around every corner, you'll find a Zumba class going on. There's many instructors in the Bronx providing different Zumba classes. But yeah, little by little, you will hear people maybe that have taken it on Xbox but never gone to a live class. So, and we'll get more and more people into class that it's their first time and they kind of get hooked and they enjoy it.
And they come back.
And they come back. That's the most important thing. You just don't kill them the first time. Let me come back. Right. So now, if people want to help and donate for the cause, what can they do?
They can go on to Aiden's Facebook page, Aiden's Fight. They can find me on Facebook as well, Allison Santiago, and we have plenty of the information there for the event, and including a PayPal account that was set up, that if they just want to just make a donation, they can go ahead and send them that way. Some people are just donating a ticket, and people are coming out of everywhere, and my PayPal account is like numerous names I've never heard of, and I'm like, we've got more donations, so it's really great. I mean, and I'll ask them, who's this person? I don't know. I'm like, well, we've got a donation from them.
There you go.
So it's great. It's great. But they can definitely find us on Facebook, on his page or my page, and donate that way through our PayPal link.
Well, certainly we will continue.
And some people are just buying the tickets to give it as a gift. It is the season to give.
That's right. Well, we thank you both for coming and sharing with us.
So much.
We hope that your fundraiser turns out to be all that you want it to be. And definitely our thoughts and prayers go out to Aiden as well as you guys. Thank you so much. All righty. Well, guess what? We do have to take a quick break. But up next, Peace December events. You'll explain, and you don't want to miss it. So stay tuned. We'll be right back right after this.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now. But when you're willing to do anything,
It is I, Cruz Zinkerbell. Okay, time for cake.
It's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Guru. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's gonna happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
Barry, time is running out. According to my calculations, 1 in 5 kids in America struggles with hunger. How can so many children face hunger when there's more than enough food to feed them all? You're right, Barry. We can help solve hunger by teaming up with Feeding America to get food to hungry kids in communities across the country.
Help Flint and the Feeding America network of food banks get food to the people who need it in your community. Find your local Feeding America food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to Open. Darren Jaime here with you. Our next guest is here in studio, and he wants to make sure that he brings you up to date, letting you everything that the Bronx has to offer in terms, or I should say the city has to offer in the month of December. December is the time for, some people say Santa, Christmas, the trees, but the fact of the matter is it's about peace, and Peace December. What exactly is Peace December? What does it have to offer? Well, we welcome the coordinator, Sheikh Musa Drame here, who is here with us. And Sheikh, as many people are excited during this holiday season, you're excited about peace.
Yes.
So give us a little bit about Peace December, because this was something that was instituted in the year 2010.
Yes.
So give us a little bit of the history of this year.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, let me begin by officially thanking BronxNet for being our official partner for promoting peace in the month of December. So Peace December is a month where we promote peace and nonviolence. Where we mean peace is that no domestic violence, no hate crimes violence, no gang violence, no ethnic violence, no religious violence, no political violence, no cultural violence, no economic violence, no violence against the animals, no violence against our environment. Total peace and tranquility and togetherness. And that, in a nutshell, is what Peace December is all about.
So you have all of these things, quite optimistic, because it's a huge challenge. You got a lot of areas that you're talking about, really. But somewhere along the line, I believe the Bloomberg administration felt that it was very important to really be able to address those areas and really try to bring peace about to New York City. So what have you guys been doing to really promote the message of peace?
You know, Darren, it is very, very unacceptable where we celebrate in New York City 24 hours no shooting. We should not have shooting, period. But now, every time there is no shooting in 24 hours, you know, the whole media takes up on it. And even now, we are celebrating the lower crime rates than the 90s. But yet, over 300 New Yorkers, innocent people, I may add, lost their lives. I was browsing through the websites of law enforcement, from NYPD to FBI to the Department of Justice. You know that every time a crime is committed and a murder takes place, it costs us about $5 million between investigation, prosecution, incarceration, and you name it. So Mayor Bloomberg found Peace December to be a very, very important ally. That's why from 2010 until now, he is one of the major supporters of Peace December. Because the fact of the matter is, here in the Bronx, we pay more for less. We pay more for life insurance, health insurance, property insurance, business insurance, and we have less property appreciation because of what? Crime and violence. Even car insurance, we pay more. Unless we collectively promote peace, we're going to continue to suffer, unfortunately, in the hands of these criminal elements in our communities. That's why we're very, very excited that Peace December, and thanks to BronxNet, has now been a global movement. As of this year, 4 countries are now adopting Peace December, and they are celebrating it. We are in a very positive and progressive conversation with the United Nations to adopt it. If it's not this year, certainly next year, UN will adopt Peace December.
So when you talk about December being the month of peace, taking that message out and really sharing it amongst New Yorkers, there's some events that are happening locally to actually help that. So let's talk about what's happening around the way.
Every year, November 30th, we launch what we call the Countdown to Peace December. We did that 2 days ago. Elected officials, community leaders, students, residents, perpetrators, or I would say former perpetrators and victims came together to celebrate the arrival of the month of peace. Now, every day in December, different organizations, house of worship, companies, individuals are hosting events dedicated to peace. One of the things that we promote this year is for spouses to really have peace dinner. Get a rose and look at your spouse and say how blessed you are to be with that person. The fact of the matter is, according to recent reports, as recent as 2 weeks ago, from Wall Street Journal, almost half of the children raised by single parents live in poverty, commit more crimes, have more difficulties in school, and have more problems becoming leaders on their own. So we're promoting togetherness. We're promoting rejuvenation of love and coupling. And if we do that, our children will commit less crime and our economic development will be easier to attain. And everybody now is hosting Peace December from November 30th until the end. Some we will attend, others we cannot attend. But last year, more than 100 organizations hosted Peace December. This year, we expect even triple that number.
What are some of the ways that we can go about trying to promote peace? Because we often say, let's live in peace, let's have peace. But what are some of the ways that somebody can do it? Because oftentimes we hear people say it, but no meat behind it, no teeth in it.
You know, the best way to promote anything is to live by it. You see, talk is cheap. If you are talking to the public and they can go and Google your name and see you commit all kinds of crime, you beat up your spouse and everything, they will never ever listen to you. The best way for us to do it is to live by the words that we preach. And you can Google me and you can check. And there will never ever be a time where violence becomes part of my life. And that is exactly what I want everybody who joining this movement to be able to say, that we will never attack our spouses. We will never ever become burden to our society, and we'll never ever commit a crime because of convenience or whatever. Now, unfortunately, sometimes when we have economic downturn, some leaders blame the economy for crime. No, they are poor people who will never commit a crime. Crime is a matter of attitude, and we have to reach out to these people who are susceptible for committing crime so that they will not commit crime. We are paying so much because we live in a crime-infested area, and we can change that. It is a collective burden, and it is a collective responsibility, and it is a moral obligation that all of us must join together to say no to crime and yes to peace. And the month of December is a perfect month to do that. If we can't achieve peace in December, forget about it. We will never achieve it. Because December is already a joyous occasion, celebration, happy month, and all kinds of celebrations take place in December. So it makes a lot of sense for us to come together. Just do what BronxNet is doing, giving us forum all the time to get our message across.
Before we get out of here, where do people find out more information about Peace December?
They can go to peacedecember.org, peacedecember.org. And by the way, before I forget, we introduced new peace lights. Instead of buying Christmas lights, now you can order from us peace lights, and beautiful. If you want to see the light, go to peacedecember.org and see the samples. You will love it.
All righty, Sheikh Booster Drama, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Absolutely.
Peace be unto you, my brother.
Thank you. Peace be unto you, too.
All righty. Sheikh Booster Drama talking about Peace December. And unfortunately, we are out of show. But it's been a pleasure coming into your homes. And we want to thank all of our guests for joining us and you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, all you have to do is catch the Recablecast. Comes on 10 p.m. on Cablevision's Channel 67. Verizon Fios, if you have, well, you go to Channel 33. If not, you can watch us anytime at the web, on the web at www.bronxnet.org. We encourage you, have a great week, and don't forget to keep your heart, your mind, and most of all, this channel wide open. Darren Jaime saying take care and have a great week.
Hi, this is Jeff Fox for 107.5 WVLS. And when I get off the radio, I check out my man, the Dr. Bob Lee and Cool Clyde. It's open on BronxNet. I never miss it.